Something unusual happened inside the British royal family this winter. Something subtle enough that most people missed it, yet powerful enough that those who noticed it are still talking about it. At Catherine's annual carol service, two familiar faces appeared with expressions that immediately drew attention. Princess Beatrice, Princess Eugenie. Their smiles seemed warmer, fuller, almost deliberate. And according to several observers, including royal commentators quoted in multiple outlets, those smiles made an impression. But behind this soft moment lay a deeper truth, a growing tension inside the monarchy, a storm centered not on the sisters themselves, but on their father, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And in the middle of that storm stands one man who has quietly taken a position that is both unexpected and revealing: Prince William. What he reportedly told those close to him has become one of the most discussed insights into how the future king intends to run his monarchy. According to royal expert Robert Jobson, speaking to Hello magazine, William is weary of the hysteria surrounding Andrew, the noise, the outrage, the moral grandstanding. Yet, despite the magnitude of the scandal surrounding Andrew, William's stance is direct, almost startlingly so. Beatrice and Eugenie must not be punished for their father's alleged sins. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. To understand why William's position matters, we need to look at what has happened to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor over the past months. Multiple reputable outlets, including the New York Post and People, have confirmed that Andrew has been stripped of his remaining royal titles and honors. His military associations, his patronages, even his official use of prince in a royal capacity have been removed. His HRH style is gone, and the ongoing controversy surrounding him has cast a long, dark shadow, not only over himself, but over the entire York branch of the family. This is not speculation. These are confirmed developments widely reported across major news organizations. And as the scandal deepened, attention shifted to his daughters. How much would they be affected? How much should they be affected? Would their roles, public standing, or even their royal identities be questioned simply because of their father's downfall? One element is certain. Their titles, Princess Beatrice of York and Princess Eugenie of York, are legally tied to birthright, not their father's current status. Outlets like People magazine have clearly stated that their titles were never in doubt. Stripping them would require an act of parliament, a process far beyond the authority of any single royal, even a king. But while their titles were secure legally, their emotional and public position within the monarchy was far less certain. According to several media sources, including Cosmopolitan and InStyle, the sisters were described as panicked or deeply worried about how their father's situation could cast a negative light on them. These descriptions reflect commentary from sources, not direct statements from the sisters, so they must be considered interpretive rather than confirmed fact. Yet they align with what many observers have noted for years. Beatrice and Eugenie have maintained a largely scandal-free presence, carrying out quiet, steady charitable work without theatrics, while often being overshadowed by controversies that have nothing to do with them personally. This is where Prince William's intervention becomes so striking. According to Robert Jobson's remarks in Hello magazine, William is said to feel a personal responsibility to ensure that the York sisters are not judged by association. Jobson states that those close to William describe him as weary of the frenzy surrounding Andrew. Not weary of accountability, but weary of the collateral damage. Weary of seeing two hard-working women pulled into a storm they did not create. Weary of the instinct some have to extend outrage beyond its rightful target. Jobson adds that William's focus is firmly forward. And forward, in his view, includes Beatrice and Eugenie. This is supported by commentary across multiple outlets that suggest William sees the sisters as part of a potential future iteration of a slimmed-down monarchy. This phrase, slimmed-down monarchy, has been circulating for years, most notably in analyses of King Charles's long-term vision. But according to Jobson, William's own version of this streamlined royal institution still includes his cousins, not out of obligation, but out of respect for what they represent: steadiness, purpose, and a complete absence of theatrics. Their attendance at state occasions, their composure during difficult years, and even their demeanor at Catherine's carol service have been cited by commentators as demonstrations of quiet loyalty. These are observations, of course, journalistic interpretations rather than official royal statements. But across the media landscape, the same pattern emerges. William sees value in Beatrice and Eugenie's presence. He sees their commitment. He sees their respect for the institution, and he does not believe they should carry the burden of their father's scandals. Part of the reason William's position resonates so strongly is because it reflects a deeper principle: the separation of individual accountability from inherited identity. Multiple experts have emphasized that it would be both unethical and impractical to punish the sisters for actions they neither committed nor endorsed. Jobson even states that William and King Charles would never strip the identity of two women who have remained loyal during the monarchy's hardest years. That point is worth lingering on. Loyalty, in the royal context, is not simply about smiling on a balcony. It is about respecting boundaries, avoiding sensational behavior, fulfilling duties without complaint, and navigating personal difficulties without using the monarchy as a public stage. Across several years of turbulence, from Andrew's legal troubles to internal family conflicts, neither Beatrice nor Eugenie has engaged in public drama. That fact has been noted by commentators across outlets like Hello Magazine, InStyle, and People. It is also worth noting that Beatrice recently received a new role as deputy patron of a charity, a detail reported by People magazine. This suggests ongoing trust and inclusion by the working members of the royal family. But it is equally important to highlight what remains unverified. Certain tabloids and entertainment-focused outlets circulated claims that William had allegedly threatened the sisters' titles if Andrew did not comply with certain royal housing decisions, particularly involving Royal Lodge. These claims are heavily disputed. People magazine, for instance, reported that insiders insist no such ultimatum took place. The meeting described in these rumors may not have occurred at all. These are the kinds of rumors that gain traction online but carry no reliable confirmation from credible sources. For this script, it is essential and responsible to distance verified reporting from unverified allegations. What is confirmed is that Andrew's eviction discussions and title removal were matters involving the king's authority and the broader institution, not threats against Beatrice and Eugenie's princess titles. What is confirmed is that William reportedly feels strongly that the sisters should not suffer because of their father's actions. Anything beyond that, meetings, ultimatums, threats, must remain labeled as rumor. Moving beyond the surface of these reports, there is another dimension worth examining: the generational vision shaping the monarchy's future. William has often been described as strategic, deeply conscious of public perception, and focused on long-term stability. By including Beatrice and Eugenie in his forward-looking plans, as reported by Jobson, William is not just being protective, he's being practical. In a world where the number of working royals shrinks, where responsibilities grow heavier and expectations higher, having two disciplined, reliable, scandal-free princesses could be an asset. Experts have repeatedly noted that the demands on the monarchy will not decrease. If anything, they will expand.
And William, according to Jobson's comments, appears to understand that the institution must rely on those who can uphold its values steadily, calmly, and without unnecessary drama. Beatrice and Eugenie fit that mold. They always have.
Still, the positioning of these sisters is delicate. They are not currently working royals. Their roles are limited. They have private jobs, families, independent lives. Any future inclusion would likely be measured, purposeful, and carefully framed. Media analyses acknowledge this dynamic. They note possibility, not certainty. Possibility supported by expert commentary, but not official announcements. In this context, William's support becomes both symbolic and strategic. It sends a message internally and externally. The sins of one man will not be allowed to tarnish the reputations of two women who have done nothing to deserve condemnation. This perspective aligns with a recurring theme in modern royal reporting: the need for fairness within a centuries-old institution often defined by inherited burdens. William, as a future king, appears to understand that his generation cannot allow guilt by association to dictate the roles or identities of those who serve the crown responsibly. And that understanding reflects a much wider shift in how the monarchy engages with the public, a shift toward individual merit rather than inherited assumptions. In William's reported view, Beatrice and Eugenie have earned respect through restraint, consistency, and composure during difficult years. Their public image, calm, supportive, apolitical, has stood in stark contrast to the controversies surrounding their father. Meanwhile, Andrew's downfall continues to unfold. The stripping of his titles and official role was not merely symbolic. It was a decisive reshaping of the royal landscape. His daughters are caught in an emotional and political crosscurrent, loving their father, supporting their families, yet needing to maintain professional distance from the consequences of his past. Commentators have acknowledged this tension repeatedly, often noting the difficult balancing act they must navigate. It is precisely in this environment that William's protective stance holds weight. His position functions almost as a shield, a declaration that the monarchy, under his future leadership, will draw clear lines between personal misconduct and familial identity. As more observers note, this approach resonates with the broader public. The idea that individuals should not be punished for the actions of others is a foundational principle of justice, and William's stance appears to align with that principle. Even at Catherine's carol service, where the sisters' warm presence was highlighted by several press outlets, their appearance was interpreted as a quiet reminder of continuity and unity. These interpretations are, of course, observations, but they reflect how the public and press perceive the evolving roles around them. As this story continues to develop, one conclusion emerges from across the verified reporting. William's support for Beatrice and Eugenie is not a fleeting moment. It represents a defining feature of how he envisions the monarchy's next chapter. A monarchy built not just on lineage, but on character, not just on tradition, but on fairness, and not just on maintaining order, but on protecting those who serve the institution with quiet dignity. The scandal surrounding Andrew Mountbatten Windsor may continue to echo, but according to expert analysis, William seems determined to ensure that those echoes do not drown out the contributions or the identities of his cousins. And in a royal landscape increasingly shaped by public opinion, transparency, and accountability, that determination may prove essential to the monarchy's stability in the years ahead.